Alright, lads. This is something that I've been meaning to do for a while. Doing a few tactics and putting them up on YouTube. It's something I've done before with some of my past teams, and it worked really well. Um, Especially when we get deeper into the season, I think we'll probably be using this a bit more often. Especially when tactics get a wee bit more tactical, I suppose, if you like, or technical. But for now, we're still working with the basics. So yeah, this one we're just going to work on a defensive, looking at our defensive approach. I'm going to look at what we've normally been doing first of all, or what we're supposed to be doing at least defensively, and then look at how we're going to change it for Sunday. And it's not a big change altogether. Um, just as well, I've kind of me and a few lads kind of tried to predict the starting lineup for Sunday for Glengad. Also, just to touch on our starting lineup, I just happened to use the starting lineup from our last game against Quigley's Point, and it means absolutely nothing towards the starting lineup for Sunday. So you can read into it what you want. But anyway, just with Glengad, obviously your man Kevin McLaughlin in goal, John Jared here at centre half. Your man Jason in the other. The fullbacks, we're not going to have a clue who they're going to be. I presume Shane Cannon's going to hold midfield with your man, that John Ginger fella. Then Paddy, Mimi or Minnie or whatever his name is. Nigel on one wing, Paul McDermott in the other, and Terence up front. Right, so presumably that's what they're gonna start with, as it says in our teams from last week. Okay, so just our usual starting positions here. We've Joe up front, sitting deep, watching the two centre halves. Roland and Christie working on the full backs. We've James, Sean, and Matty working in the three in midfield, 3v3. Obviously, they're not really man marking. They should be tucked in and in a position to press as the ball travels. Michael at left back, Mark and Barr centre half working on the striker, and then Michael and Gavin, the full backs, working on the two wingers. Okay, so just to roll it on here, as the ball's travelling to the centre half, once again, we don't be committing anybody, but we're getting our players to shift across the field like so. I'll just show it again. So as the ball travels, we all shift across to the side. Obviously, Christie, you should be tucking into midfield, creating the overload in here. So now we four in midfield, as your man isn't any problem out there. All right. So Ronan, also what you're doing is you're cutting off the pass into the winger in that position, but also you can see your man if the ball goes to your man. All right. So you can press your man if the ball's traveling. Alright, so just rolling on a wee bit more. Now, we don't commit at all. Joe only makes his first move. Joe's our trigger man up front, to start off the press, but he doesn't start pressing until the centre half starts moving out with the ball. Okay, so that's it. And then whenever the centre half starts moving out with the ball, that's when Joe isolates his player. Okay, from that then we have Matty tucking across, so he's cutting off the pass. He's cutting off the pass into the striker. James tucking in, so he's cutting off this ball in here, but he can still see his man here. And Sean Fagan also tucking across a wee bit. Sean Fagan's tucking across a wee bit, so he's also affecting the ball into Terence. But also, if the ball does go into his man, then he can still press the ball as it travels into your man Paddy. Once again, Christie's our extra man in midfield, creating the overload. So just roll on again. In this case, we have the centre half playing out to the full back, and as that happens, Ronan's supposed to be pressing his man. Ronan's supposed to press his man as the ball travels. Once again, we're all shifting across and condensing the field and kind of pushing it all into this area. All right, so we're all kind of working within that area. So because at the minute, Nigel's no problem, left back's no problem. Your man Jason there, he's no problem. We're all shifting them one side of the field. This is something you've been doing anyway, so I'm just kind of going over it. So just bear with me while I am. All right, rolling on again. In this instance, we have the full back playing in the winger. As that happens, our left back press as high as possible. Once again, Ronan then takes up this position, so he's cutting off the pass back into the centre half. But Ronan can also he can still see his man. So if the ball does go back, he goes to press out the full back. You can see the position Matty's taken up here, so he's in a good position to press his man, but he's cutting off, he's affecting the ball into the striker. Also Sean Doherty's tucked in. James Henry's also tucked in a wee bit, he's affecting Shane, and once again Christie's are an extra man in midfield still at this stage. Rolling on again, in this case the ball gets played back into midfield and Matty looks to press the ball from that area. Ronan once again is taking up a good position, cutting off the fullback. James is in a great position, he's cutting off the ball into Shane Cannon or the pass in here. Fagan's in a great position, he can affect the striker and he can press this man if the ball travels across. So we're all in good positions here. In this instance we're going to work with Matty winning the ball back. So Matty wins it back and looks to establish possession straight away. The first thing we look to do is establish possession. So we look to do that through Ronan because obviously he was the open man. Now that we've established possession, Christie knows that we have the ball. He's going to try and make that run there and get high. Michael, who's our left back, he knows to get forward now as well because we have the ball at our feet. Joe's dropping in, so if James sees Joe dropping in to receive a pass, James knows then to press on. So that's the case, we've won the ball back. Just rolling it on. In this case, we knock the ball into Joe. Michael continues his run forward. Christie's creating space by dropping out wide, pulling the defenders away for us. And Joe's getting the ball like he usually does. And once again, as we talked about, when Joe's dropping in, one of our midfielders needs to get on. Needs to get up the park. So yeah, just to roll it on a wee bit more. This is a typical scenario that we certainly are capable of doing and certainly done against Quigley's Point. Joe in this scenario knocks it to Matty, who won the ball in the first place. Obviously there's loads of passes on here now. Matty looks to play in Michael. Roland continues his run. At this stage now, Christie knows the ball's in the final third of the park, so he's now becoming the second striker. And we're looking to get loads of men in the box. Obviously because Matty was sitting, that gives Sean Fagan the freedom to move forward. James Henry's now obviously overlapped Joe and he's becoming the striker. Michael's in a good crossing position now, roll it on. Michael's in a good crossing position now. Christie goes to the back post maybe, James goes front, Sean Fagan goes back, and Roland and Joe are obviously flooding the box there as well. And as usual, we have one holding player and three at the back. Simple as. Same as every time. Now, obviously this time, as I said, Matty's holding, but that could be Sean Fagan holding, and in some cases it might even be James Henry holding. Right, so we get the cross in and we look to score. Okay, so that's what we normally do. So just resetting here again. So this is our normal setup that we normally do, and that's how we normally press the ball, and we have been doing it as pressing high up the park. So on Sunday, we all know that the Crew is a massive pitch, and if we press high, we're leaving massive gaps in here, massive gaps in behind. All right, and with the case is, most of their decent players are out playing for Man, as we know. So the only real danger that I can see on Sunday is this man Nigel and this man Terence, and possibly the other winger as well. I don't know much about him, but I know Nigel's pretty quick, and Terence is very quick. So, as I said, the only threat they have is that one in behind. The ball in behind is going to be dangerous because they're quick. All right, so we're going to look to neutralise that. This is a tactic that I've talked about in pre-season and I talked about before the season as well. In a case when this is a possible problem, we'll look to defend and use trigger points as our pressure. Right, so we defend a wee bit deeper. So we might take 10 or 15 yards step back, starting position. So as you can see, we'll all sit back a wee bit, and this is now nullifying that long ball in over the top for maybe Nigel or Terence to run onto. Now obviously it might not be from the keeper, it might be from general play and the likes, alright, but just to reset this now. Alright, so we're starting positions. You can see now Joe's basically starting on the semicircle. Christie's tucked in here at the halfway line, running the same. James Henry's tucked in at the halfway line. Sean Doherty and Matty can see their men. And our back four are tucked in nice and tight, a nice flat back four. But maybe 10 or 15 yards deeper than they normally would start. So, what do? We be patient. Patience now is the main part of this game. So, obviously we're giving them their back four freedom to play. Let them play in their own third. Doesn't matter. If you watch Cockhill against Glengad in the Knockalla Cup final, this is exactly how Cockhill played them. They sat back and let them have it in their own third. Sure, what are they doing? They're doing nothing. The danger is the long ball over the top of the Crew. Alright, so they might play it out to the left centre half. When this happens, all we do is shift across. Rowan's tucked in. Ronan's tucked into our midfielder as his man doesn't pose a threat. Christie's cutting off that pass into the winger, but he can still see his man if the ball goes out to him. And Joe Doherty's taken up a better starting position. Just all he's done is moved across here. That's all he's done. He's just moved across 10 yards, maybe less, and he's just walked across just in case he does start stepping out. Alright, James is in a position to see his man Shane. Now if Shane starts dropping in there, James can even start a wee bit higher. But even if James drops or Shane drops in there, he can have it in there. Rolling on again. This time, just to show, they've shifted the ball across the other side. This time what we've done is Ronan's cutting this pass off instead of Christie this time, but he's still in a position to see his man if the ball does travel to him. And this time we have Christie tucking in the midfield. And again, Joe's shifted across where he can, just in case his man starts travelling out with the ball, where he's in a position to press. Moving on, the ball goes back to the goalkeeper and we revert back to their starting positions again. Now, what happens if the ball's played out to the centre half? Once again, we all shift across and he starts moving out. So this is where he starts moving out. Now, we're going to use this area of the field here, the middle third of the park, as our trigger point. And Joe Doherty starts the trigger. Well, that is if the centre half's coming out with the ball. Whenever they start moving into the middle third of the park, that's when we start pressing the ball, isolating them to one side. Once again, we're neutralising everything in here. If they play a long ball, they're not going to get work. And for me, the lads that they're going to have starting in midfield aren't going to be good enough. So these lads here, John Ginger, Paddy Mimi, whoever, even Shane Cannon, he's probably going to be the most dangerous. They're not going to be good enough or intricate enough to be able to play balls into midfield and work the ball and attack through those tight spaces. I don't think they're going to be good enough, alright? As I says, we're going to neutralise this threat and this threat over the top. So as I said, Joe presses. James is still staying in the position where he's covering Shane Cannon. Christie's dropping off to cover the left back, the full back, but he's also in a position still where he's cutting that ball off into Nigel. Now, if he wants to try one over the top and defeat there, that's fine because Gavin has him. Gavin's on his touch. Christie's also in a position to see his left back. And he can press as the ball travels. And as well, Joe, what we're looking for Joe now to do is isolate him to one side and try and make him, force him play into wide areas, into the left back. Alright, so rolling on then. In this case, Joe's been successful and he's playing the left back. Joe's taking up a good position here now, where he's covering a pass back to the centre half, but he's also affecting the midfield. Sean Doherty's in a good position. He's covering the ball into the striker, but he can also see his midfielder. Matty's man's not really in a problem position here now, but Matty's in a good position where he can see Terence, he can see Paddy, and he can also see his man. And we've a back four here in good position as well. All right. In this case, I'm going to have Christie win the ball back, and when he does, we know he's established possession. So you can see we've established possession. Gavin knows this; he can make his run forward. Joe obviously knows it, so he's made his run forward. James Henry's taking up a good position here. Ronan starts to make a move into the box. Sean obviously knows that he's holding midfield, so he's going to have to come across, and Matty knows he can get forward now too. Rolling on again, we've established possession. In this case, we're going to look to play James Henry in. Gavin continues his run forward because he knows Michael's going to stay at the back for him. And yeah, from here then, typical scenario that we can get into again. James looks to play in Joe. Gavin looks to work the overlap. But this time, we're going to look for Matty's obviously running them beyond Joe this time. Matty's making that run beyond Joe this time because James obviously was doing Matty's job. So Joe looks to play in Matty. Gavin can make a run into the box then if he likes. Christie can then take his position on the wing. Joe's obviously going to try and get forward as well. And now that the ball's in this area of the field, Ronan, when this ball's in the final third of the field, Ronan knows now that he can make his run towards goal. Alright, so now Matty obviously has plenty of passing. Oh, not that one. He's got plenty of passes on. He's put Ronan there. He's got Gavin if he wants. If he's well closed down, he can go back to Joe, and Joe can play out Christie. You know yourself, alright? So, look, that's just an example of what we're doing. It's not really changed. It's just the trigger points that you work with on the on Joe, with their two wingers, Ronan and Christie, look to press the fullbacks, and Joe looks to work the two centre halves still, but he's doing it from basically the middle third of the park. Off of that then, our defence drop back 15 yards, our midfield drops back 10 or 15 yards accordingly. Alright, so look, Obviously that's our what we'll be working on Sunday. Sorry for keeping you so long. It's only 15 minutes. Um, we'll talk about it obviously again on Sunday, but I just want you to be well aware of it now before we even go into the match, because it might take a wee bit longer to explain what we're doing, especially when we're away from home and their dressing rooms won't be open. All right, so I'll chat to you Sunday. Good luck.